Okay.
All right,
All
Shalom,
praises.
Israel. First, I'd like to give all praises to the Most High Yah and do so in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai. And today I want to talk about some violence in the city. If you've been paying attention to the news, you'll notice there's been, I say even just over the past few years, a lot of mass shootings, mass lootings and thefts. And, these things have been getting, increasing in number and frequency. It's been like a precipitously in the past couple of years. Let me get Amos 3, 6, and 7. Amos 3,
The,
6, and 7.
the book of Amos, chapter 3, verses 6 and 7. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Almighty have not done it? Surely the Almighty Yah will do nothing, but he revealeth the secret unto his saint servants, the prophets.
You see that? So I'm here to, as a servant of the Most High, to blow that trumpet to the other servants and to the other those that are new in this truth, and maybe those that aren't in the truth, but somehow catch a glimpse and can listen. I'm here to send out that warning. Ezekiel 3, 17 through 19. Because once you have that knowledge and once you put your hand to that plow, it is now your duty to warn the people of the impending danger that's coming.
All praises. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verses 17 through 19. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning for me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou gavest him not warning, nor speaketh to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. Yet, if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul.
You see that? So if you a wicked person and you hear this and you don't take no heed to it, the Most High go require your blood. But if you're a wicked person and I didn't tell you, or none of our other brethren in the truth didn't tell you, then the Most High is going to require your blood, but it's going to be on us. It's going to be our fault. We'll be held accountable because we didn't tell them. So I'm doing my due diligence to make sure I tell as many people as I can what's going to happen and what is happening. Let me get this first article tied up. Atlanta mass shooting led to a vet in jail, an apology and lasting trauma. It's on CNN. It just came out earlier today. An 8-hour manhunt that threw a major American city into fear and chaos ended when barking dogs at a suburban condo complex led to the arrest of a U.S. Coast Guard veteran suspected of fatally shooting a woman and wounding 4 others in a medical waiting room in the bustling heart of Atlanta, authorities said. The suspect, Dwayne Patterson, 24, was armed when he was arrested Wednesday evening, Cobb County Police Chief Stuart Van Hooser said Thursday. What his intent was, I can't say. Was he lying in wait? Would he have done something out of desperation to get away? Who knows? Patterson faces 1 count of murder and 4 counts of aggravated assault, Fulton County jail records show. He waived his rights to a first appearance in court, which had been set for Thursday morning, the jail supervisor said. The shooting spree claimed the life of 38-year-old Amy St. Pierre, who worked at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Our hearts are with her family and friends as they remember her and grieve this tragic loss, CDC spokesman said. The attack, and this is the point I wanted to make, the attack marked one of 192 mass shootings this year in the US, with 4 or more people shot, excluding a gunman, according to the Violence Archive. So you see that? And we're not that far into the year. And it's already been 192 mass shootings. That's more than one shooting a day if you average it out. And if you don't think that this is part of the judgment of the Most High, then, I don't know what to tell you, because it definitely is. And like I said, you don't want to be out of his favor in this type of time, because, it could easily be you. Like I said, this is 192 separate events, Let me share. And what's kind of been what's different about these, we typically don't do these kind of things. But recently, it's been us in the news doing a lot of these mass shootings. So he looked like he could definitely be one of us. You used to see Esau doing this kind of stuff, or maybe Ishmael, but mostly Esau doing this kind of stuff, random mass shootings, and don't nobody know why. But it seems like we want to be like Esau so bad in these last days. Let me get the next article. This is USA Today, and it's titled, Texas family called police 5 times before shooting spree that killed 5. And this one came out May 1st. A resident of the Texas home where a man opened fire with an AR-15 style rifle said his family called police 5 times over a span of more than 10 minutes before the rampage that left 5 people dead and set off a manhunt for the killer. Wilson Garcia said he asked his neighbor who was shooting a gun in his yard late Friday night to shoot further away from Garcia's 1-month-old son who was sleeping. Garcia said he called the police when the man refused. The family made 4 more calls, according to the Associated Press. I told my wife, get inside. This man has loaded his weapon, Garcia said. My wife told me to go inside because he won't fire at me. I'm a woman. Garcia's wife, Sonia Argentina Guzman, 25, was the first person shot. Garcia's 9-year-old son also killed. Garcia said more than a dozen people were in his home at the time, and that 2 women died protecting his infant and 2-year-old daughter, neither of whom was injured. You see that? So even women and children aren't off the table. Let me keep on. Skip down a little bit. Everybody was shot from the neck up, almost execution style, Capers said. The suspect, Francisco Oropeza, who had been deported 4 times since 2009, had been drinking before the shooting, Capers said. Oropeza, 38, remained at large Monday, despite a search involving more than 250 law enforcement personnel from multiple jurisdictions. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office twice reported possible sightings Monday, but each time the searches came up empty. They found him now, but the point is, this is also one of us. Hispanic brother, probably a Issachar or a Zebulonite. And like I said, we committing these crimes as if we're Esau. This is his nature. We're trying to be like him. I'm trying to think. It's a song that said this too. I think it's an 8-Ball MJG song. It said something along the lines of, "Black man taught to kill by the white man. Television got me want to live like the white man." And so that's what we see. We see what Esau doing. We learning his murderous ways, and we implementing it into our life. But we can't get away. We'll never be able to be as good at it as he is. And we definitely won't be able to get away with it like he does. You get Proverbs 3:31. Because when you go back, who taught you to do that? Who taught you that killing was the way?
The book of Proverbs, chapter
Proverbs
3
3,
and 31.
31.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
You see that? So we shouldn't be envying our oppressor. And I heard it was somebody, they were giving their opinion, but it seemed like it was pretty, it seemed like it was very plausible. They were basically saying how ghetto culture mimics redneck culture. And if you just really sit down and think about that, it has a lot of parallels to it. You get Amos 3, 1 and 2. But like I said, they can do certain stuff that we just we're not able to do because we're the Most High's chosen people. So we can't get away with what they can get away with.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. Hear this word of the Almighty, have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
You see that? The Most High said he will punish us and us only for our iniquities. He don't deal with Esau. He don't deal with Ishmael like how he would deal with us. He just doesn't. We do something, it's gonna be a whooping. They do something, they just go let it pile up to the heavens and go be utter destruction. Let me get Psalms 147, 19 through 20.
The book of Psalms, 147, verses 19 through 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Almighty.
You see that? He's not gonna punish them how he was gonna punish us. He's just not gonna do it. That's why they can do all kind of stuff, and they can steal a nation. They can steal land from people, and it become a prosperous nation. We can't even steal a piece of candy out the store without getting 10 years in jail, because he's not dealing with them like he's dealing with us. Let me get one more article. And I think this is a good one. And I brought this article. I'm bringing this article up because, like I said, you see all these mass shootings and mass lootings and all these other ridiculous crimes, but you forget that the punishment for them, the judgment for these crimes in society anyway, the judgments have relaxed so far from back in the day. And so that's why you keep seeing it happen. So it's like, these guys do these mass shootings. It's like they almost become celebrities. You see their face all over the place. People talk about them. That's all they talk about on the news for, at least a few days, depending on. Then it's like the bigger the mass shooting, the more they go talk about it. So it's, so like I said, it's a lot of them become almost celebrities. So that's why people keep doing it. It seems like this is the way. And this is from encyclopedia.com. A continual conflict, a history of capital punishment in the United States. Capital punishment is the ultimate punishment, death, administered by the government for the commission of serious crime. The word capital comes from the Latin word capitalis, meaning of the head. Let me skip down a little bit. The colonial period. Since the first European settlers arrived in North America, the death penalty has been accepted as just punishment for a variety of offenses. In fact, the earliest recorded execution occurred in 1608, only a year after the English constructed their first settlement in Jamestown, Virginia. Captain George Kendall, one of his original leaders of the Virginia colony, was convicted of mutiny by a jury of his peers and sentenced to death by a shooting in Jamestown. In 1632, Jane Champion, a slave, became the first woman to be put to death in the new colonies. She was hanged in Jamestown for the murders of her master's children. The English Penal Code applied to the British colonies from the beginning and listed 14 capital offenses. We're going to go through each one of these. Actual practice, however, varied from colony to colony. In the early days of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, 12 crimes warranted the death penalty. Idolatry, remember that, we're going to come back to that one. Witchcraft, we'll stick a pin in witchcraft. Let me get Exodus 22 and 18. Exodus 22 and 18.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
You see that? So the witch couldn't live. You see, that's straight out the Bible. And but you know, the interpretation of what a witch was might be obscured, but in today's, you know, like you selling drugs and so forth and so on, you know, that would fall under the witchcraft category. The next one is blasphemy. Let me get Leviticus 24, 15 through 26.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 24, verses 15 through, what verse did you say?
15 and 16.
15 and 16. Leviticus 24, verses 15 and 16. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curse his Yah shall bear his sin. Verse 16. And he that blasphemeth the name of the Almighty, he shall surely be put to death, and all the congregation shall surely stone him, as well the stranger, as he that is born in the land. And he blasphemeth the name of the Almighty shall be put to death.
See that? Straight out the Bible. The next one is rape. You get Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
You see that? So there's rape right there from the Bible. Let's see, kidnapping. You get Exodus 21 and 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
You see that? If you sell them, or if you just found possessing them, you go get put to death. Straight out the Bible. Perjury, which is lying under oath. Let me get Matthew 7, 1 and 2.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 1 and 2. Judge not, that ye be not judged, for with that judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with that measure ye met, it shall be measured to you again.
You see that? So if you're trying to accuse somebody of murder or rape or anything that's punishable by death, and it comes to light that you are lying, that same judgment will be brought back upon you. Let me see what's rebellion. Let me get 1 Samuel 15:23.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verses 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as the iniquity of idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Almighty, he have also rejected thee from being king.
You see that? So it compared rebellion as witchcraft, which we already went over. That's punishable by death. And the last one is, nope, got two more. Adultery. Let me get Leviticus 20 and 16.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 16. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereunto, thou
Nope, that
shalt
ain't the one.
kill the woman.
That wasn't the one. So like it's 10.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
And the last one is boogery or sodomy. Let me go to Exodus 21:12.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 12.
Nope, not
He that
21:12. So like Leviticus 20 and 13. I gave you the wrong scripture.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 21 and 13. Is that what you want?
Yes, 20 and 13.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them.
You see that? And so those were, including murder, of course, were the crimes back in the colonial period that were punishable by death. And you see, I pull scriptures straight out of the Bible to prove that. And let me continue reading. In the statute, each crime was accompanied by a quotation justifying capital punishment from the Old Testament of the Bible. That's where they got that from. And I just pulled the corresponding scriptures to show you that. So back then, it was a lot less foolishness like it is today, in mass anyway, because the punishment was death. And let me get the last one. I'm gonna go back up to that idolatry one. I say that one for last for a reason. Let me get Deuteronomy 13, 6 through 11. And this is why they used to put people to death.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verses 6 through 11. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or the son of, or thy son, or thy daughter, or thy wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thy own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely, of the gods of the people, which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thy eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him, Thy hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people,
You
and
see
thou
that?
shalt
So
stone him.
if somebody tried to entice you to commit adultery back then, you had to kill them. And this is the reason. Keep going.
And thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from the Almighty thy Yah, which brought thee out the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as thou is among you.
You see that? So the reason a lot of these crimes are punishable by death, even though they might not be a big deal by today's standard, but if you let them continue on, the ideas will spread, and now it will be a big deal. Because think about, we got a whole LGBTQ movement. Whereas if we put people to death that did that, we wouldn't have this problem right now. Like I said, we have mass lootings and stealings and everything else. Whereas if we handle those people according to the laws of the Bible, we wouldn't have that problem. You know, they pardon them saying, well, you ain't steal more than this amount, so, you know, we can't do nothing to you. You know, all this stuff. So that's the point. That's why we had crimes punishable by death back then, because it was for the people to look at, like, dog, he did this. I don't want to do that because they made an example out of that person and they hung him from the street light, and everybody know, like, well, he died because he did that. Whereas now, a lot of states don't even have the death penalty anymore. And like I said, you get a bunch of media coverage, and you know, it just, you know, that's why we have to go back to these laws in the Bible. And you know, of course, we can't let Esau do it because, you know, they'll end up abusing it and showing perspective of persons. It's gonna take Yahweh Shah to come back and restore the kingdom for us to be able to implement these laws again. And that's the only way it's gonna work. Let me get Ezekiel 3, 20 and 21. Because the longer you let these kind of ideas propagate, the worse they're gonna get. And I hate to say it, but all there's gonna be more shootings. There's gonna be more ridiculous stuff from the LGBTQ movement. It's just gonna be more everything that's bad because we let it propagate and continue. And we even glorify a lot of it. Ezekiel 3, 20 and 21.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verses 20 and 21. Again, when a righteous man doeth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die, because thou hast not given him warning. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness, which he have done, shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thy hand. Verse 21. Nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man that the righteous sin not, and he doeth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned. Also, thou hast delivered thy soul.
You see that? So that's why I'm warning, giving warning to the people, and I hope everyone takes heed to these warnings and become the righteous man, or be that righteous man. If if you did any other stuff that goes against the Bible, I hope you hear it and say, dog, let me get corrected. Let me try to change that. Let me fix that about myself. So you won't end up being one of the victims of these mass shootings, or end up being a victim of any other foolishness that's going on in the world, and all the judgment that the Most High is sending out as of late. You know, that's why the Most High sent his servants to correct the people. You know, whether it be me, or whether it be Bishop, or whether it be anybody else that's bringing out this word. I hope everyone hears it and takes the correction. Get Psalms 141 and 5.
The book of Psalms, chapters 141, verse 5. Let the righteous smite me, it shall be a kindness, and let him reprove me, it shall be an excellent oil, which shall not break my hand, for yet my prayer also shall be in their calamities.
You see that? So hope if someone tries to correct you according to the scripture, don't take offense to it. Let it correct you. Let it keep coming at you in kindness. Let it reprove you. And with that, I'll leave it there. Shalom.
All praises to the Most High. Very insightful, inspiring lesson, gave us something to think about. All praises.